Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. This is Sunny, and I talk about life transformations with the power of unconditional self love. Have you ever thought about those voices going on in your head all the time? Those voices might sometimes say that you're not good enough, or those voices will sometimes say that you did that mistake again. And then it leads us to self criticism or self doubt. So these voices are something which are really and truly governing our thought process. And what I'm going to be talking about in this video today is why these voices are there in our heads at the first place. What exactly is the cause of those voices? Where do these voices take us to in terms of harming ourselves? And how can we transform ourselves to calm them down? So that inner voice that talks about normal moments, right? And we are so used to those kind of normal moments. Why? Because we have been seeing those normal moments for a very long time. And these are more prominent when we are sitting idle. And we have to distract ourselves in order to make those voices quieter. So these voices could be sometimes judging certain circumstances or worrying about future or maybe self-criticism or always getting louder when we are in a panic situation and want to take a quick decision, right? And we think sometimes that this is our inner guidance system which is talking to us. But no, this is not our inner guidance systems. Those voices are there because of our past experiences. Period. Such as disrespect during certain situations, such as failures during our certain situations, such as people looking down on us on certain situations, right? And in certain situations, we would have handled certain challenges in our lives in a different way, which didn't give us the expected results. And then we regret about it. And that regret, that shame, that guilt, that fear, that remains within us, within our subconscious mind. And then these all kind of energies trigger those kind of voices within us. So the best way to recognize those patterns of voices is to let them pass, just like floating clouds in the sky, and observe them. So where exactly these voices are coming from? This voice often starts from real life. Okay? Let me be very honest about it, because when we go through a traumatic childhood or very challenging life, those experiences leave an imprint on our subconscious minds. And then these imprints create a different perspective altogether as we always face criticism, comparison, regret, validation, and self-doubt. For example, you had done any mistake in your life, probably, let's say from a relationship point of view, you end up marrying a wrong person and now you're divorced. And just because of that incident or that person, you're going through certain more challenges in life. And those experiences keep building some kind of anger, aggression, and also a fear in terms of getting into a new relationship as well. And then those voices are always telling us, that every person is like this, we gotta behave like this, and we have to manipulate people, we have to play games with people and do this and do that. And we forget about our authenticity there. Because those voices have been there within our subconscious ecosystem. Just because of those challenges or that incident of separation or divorce that we went through in our past. So the best way to notice it without fighting is to sit with that. But most of the time what we do is we distract ourselves by focusing on something else, as this helps us in blocking those thoughts, right? We try to move on from there. And this is the most dangerous thing that we do. As we overlook on the source of those thoughts, which are thus creating those kind of voices which never gets addressed during our whole life. And honestly, there is no rocket science to start making those voices quieter. It's a matter of taking that accountability. It's a matter of taking that courage to sit with those voices and observe them without getting distracted by anything else. You don't have to grab your phone. You don't have to turn your television on. Just sit in quietness and observe them. So when the voices start, just pause, take one slow breath, and start opposing those thoughts with the help of showing a lot of compassion and kindness. I can give you a very good example from my life that I'm going through at the moment. And I'm going through some kind of financial problem. And whenever those kind of thoughts or those kind of voices will start appearing, I have the best way to calm them down. As I say that I can only work on my growth and my learning right now, and those financial issues are not in my control at the moment. So I will let go that worry or fear, and I will focus on something which is more important for me right now. Just think about any of the challenges that you're going through in your life right now. If that's related to relationship, if that's related to health, if that's related to finances, whatever that is, you only need to understand what you can control and what you cannot control. And the things that you cannot control, you just need to let it go by saying that to yourself that those things are not in your control at the moment, so I will not worry or think about them, but I will focus on something that I can control in order to face that challenge. This works because then it stops the spiral of those thoughts or voices going on in your head, and then it calms down after a couple of minutes. This is the biggest transformation. Once you do that, and once you're able to pay attention towards those voices, rather than getting stuck in that loop of voices, this will become the biggest transformation for you to bring your peace back into your life. Now, the spiritual side of the voice that we keep hearing in our heads all the time. So spiritually speaking, these voices are the main causes of anger, anxiety, fears, egoistic emotions, which are not really required in our lives, which are every time blocking our soul's growth, our soul's evolution. If we keep experiencing those voices of self-doubt, self-criticism, past mistakes, disrespect, then spiritually it means that there's a lot of light that wants to enter into your life, but that cloud of voice is blocking that, because that cloud of voice is always keeping you stuck in that loop of worry, fear, self-doubt, self-criticism, hate, anger, regret, blame, shame, guilt, thus blocking you to achieve whatever you want to achieve in your life. If you want to pursue a goal in your life, right? And then you're looking outwards all the time, and that voice in your head keeps saying that, that person faced this problem, then, it could be skeptical for you to achieve your goals just because everybody else is facing it. And that creates a self-doubt, and then you don't want to even try that. That's what happens, right? Honestly, you can change that mini voice or mini words to really normal words, okay? And I'm taking that previous example again, right? If you want to pursue a goal and you see that somebody else is doing it, but somebody else is, maybe facing challenges, right? Maybe facing some kind of issues in terms of pursuing the similar kind of goal. You just gotta tell yourself about one thing, that there is no harm in trying, and I will keep my heart and mind open in order to deal with any kind of challenges. If that works, that works. If that doesn't work, that doesn't work. This is how you can show a lot of kindness and compassion towards so many things that going on in your head, which is always pulling you down. But what you gonna do is be like your best friend, a best friend who is there to help you to evolve and grow. So let's say you do a mistake and there are voices in your head again that start criticizing you. We gotta take a pause, take a deep breath, and then say, it's okay. The mistake is already committed. I cannot change that mistake now, but I gotta take the lesson learned and move. Show that you are compassionate to yourself, you are kind to yourself, and you are evolving from there. So the entire ball game is all about unconditional self-love with compassion and kindness towards yourself. You become your best friend, because when you do it for the first time, your inner self is not used to it. It's just like a burning fire from decades has been given a splash of water to cool down. And when you get used to that voice inside your head calms down as you are becoming more compassionate and kind to yourself. This not just helps you to reduce anger, but also all those fears or anxieties that have been bothering you for a very long time. You then start trying new things in your life. You start experimenting with new things with more clarity. You have more focus in your life. And that immense increase in focus does bring a lot of peace. So instead of allowing that voice to become your biggest critic, make that as your best friend. Include the aspects of compassion and kindness, which is always helping you to grow, evolve, and let go of unnecessary thoughts. There are so many practices around the world. We call it as mindfulness, we call it meditation, we call it as yoga. But the kind of meditation that I teach is entirely based on ancient Hindu meditation practice called as dhyana in Sanskrit, which is all about sitting in silence or meditating in silence by focusing towards your normal breathing process or the center of the forehead. If you can start meditating like that, starting from 5 minutes, the moment you wake up, grab a cup of coffee. You can meditate until the coffee brews. And after 5 minutes, you will see the thoughts that you had in your head and those voices, they start calming down. And when you make that as a pure discipline in your life, and not only that, you get that courage to sit with yourself, to start observing those thoughts and start reversing them with compassion and kindness, your peace becomes an ultimate part of your life. So always remember one thing, that inner voice can get quieter with simple steps that I talked about in this video. Notice it, breathe, answer kindly and with compassion. Be into the discipline of meditating in silence, not with any kind of background noise, because then we got a support in order to, focus on something which is music, but really and truly we are not allowing the thoughts to come onto the surface. So that doesn't really help us on a longer term, and that's my opinion about it. But everyday discipline like that takes you to a stage wherein that kindness, that compassion, and that peace becomes an integral part of your life, and thus making you so calmer and truer. As I keep talking about life transformations on all of my videos, and that too with the help of unconditional self-love, I have gone through those transformations in my life on my own, so I am aware about the step-by-step process in order to deal with several challenges that I've been through in my life for past 20 years. Those challenges were in relation to relationships, finances, health, stability, everything. And with that kind of experience, I come to my audience here on these videos, not just to share my experiences, not just to share the discipline that I have in my life, but also to help and support you in that journey if you really want to attain that state of unconditional self-love in your life, wherein you are completely free from any kind of fear in your life. and you live your life with complete eternal love residing inside your heart. So I invite my audience to share any comments in the comment section. And also, you can get in touch with me. The contact details are there in the description column. In case if you're going through any specific challenge in your life and you want my guidance for that. I always keep saying your worthiness doesn't depend upon external factors. It depends upon you as what you are, as what you're going to get. This is Sunny. Take care.